How's it going, everyone? This is your Astrology Horoscope for Thursday, June 27th, 2024. I'm astrologer Alex Skyles, and welcome to the Moonbase. Hope you guys are doing great. Hope you are having a great week. Good to be here with all of you. Today, this moon in Pisces is going to make its conjunction with Saturn at 19 degrees. So Saturn is going to be going retrograde here by Saturday. Today's Thursday. 2 more days and Saturn's going to be retrograde. So with the moon today, which will be on top of Saturn, we're going to start to feel the weight of Saturn come through today. In the morning time, there can be this kind of emotional weight of like, man, like there's not enough time. Like I need, more time to get things done. I need more energy to get things done. With Saturn and Pisces, it's like working through that kind of draining or feeling disconnected from reality kind of energy. So with this moon on Saturn, with Saturn pretty much completely stopped at this point, we're going to start to feel the weight of what Saturn retrograde is, really testing us and calling us to pay attention to, address in our reality. Because this is, with Saturn and Pisces, we're really manifesting our inner vision, our inner world in a physical way, and it's going through those hard lessons, those hard spiritual lessons to learn how to bring in that more subconscious space and that more spiritual subconscious frequency into our physical reality, which is where real true creativity and art and a spiritual expression really comes from, is from the ether. It's like when it comes to creation or spirituality or art, it is like we're receiving it. It's not like we just are coming up with ideas out of nowhere and then, wow, you're a genius. It's like, being tapped into that frequency allows us to just be a channel for whatever energy and form of communication or what the universe wants to communicate, can come through, but it is these spiritual lessons to really, that we really have to go through to really evolve to that place. And with this moon and Saturn today, it's like we're going to start to feel the weight of what Saturn is really speaking of. So I think this is the third Saturn retrograde we've had in Pisces now. So, we've covered 2.5 decans just about with Saturn and Pisces. Neptune is, slowing down. So we've really addressed our physical world and our spiritual worlds in, very critical ways. I think Saturn, we're going to start to feel the critical aspect of Saturn, but at the same time with Black Moon Lilith and making an opposition with Juno too, like, it's really, even in our partnerships, it's like, I think if we're overly critical in our partnerships or we're over criticizing other people or, especially the people that we really truly care about, and we have those strong relationships and strong bonds with, like it can really create a lot of insecurities and a lot of fear can come up, But at the same time, it's like those insecurities and fears that can come up here with Saturn and Pisces. It's trying to teach us something. It's trying to teach us to look at our physical world in a more honest way. Because with Saturn and Neptune here in Pisces at the highest non-physical frequency, at least in our existence, in our 360 degree little bubble in this galaxy, that's as far as we go. That's we're completely out. That's when, when we get to the 12th house, we get to Neptune, we get to Pisces, that's when, we leave our bodies completely and we just become one with all things. So, I think this can bring up a lot of, this can bring up a lot of things where you miss the details, where the details weren't thoroughly, you didn't read the fine print, right? This black moon Lilith and Juno. I mean, and I don't use these placements that often, but I think it's relevant with this opposition here in the moon today. You know, and the black moon Lilith, you know, it's not an asteroid or something, you know, it's the darkest point of the moon, in the moon's orbit. It's the moon, it's the point, the mathematical point of the furthest point of the moon's orbit away from the Earth. So it is. It's like you don't want to get trapped and get into these dark spaces of, you know, overthinking, you know, over criticizing, you know, over criticizing ourselves, you know. But I think too, a big reminder with Saturn going retrograde too, is that when some of those subconscious stuff starts to flare up, or the insecurities, or the unsureness, you know, or that kind of detachment from reality that Saturn in Pisces and Neptune in Pisces can make us feel sometimes, you know, when that stuff comes up, it's like, you know, where can you put yourself to really help others without any gain or return back, you know, not in a Taurus Scorpio kind of way where it's this exchange of value or goods or money, or, you know, this is like with Virgo and Pisces, it's about service. It's about selfless service and doing the things that, you know, that are going to, you know, help others or give to others or whatever, you know, just without any expectation of getting something back. So it's like when these intense, deeper subconscious feelings start to pop up, as Saturn begins to go retrograde, and especially today with the moon on Saturn, it's like, you know, where can you put yourself in someone else's shoes, or where can you help somebody else? You know, any place where you can get outside of your own inner chaos, right? And I think we can find that in selfless service and in helping others, you know. And Venus and Mars are really starting to help each other. So we just had Mercury sextile with Mars. So, you know, I think when it comes to creating a more physical, secure environment for ourselves, we've kind of gotten a bunch of messages there over these past few days, and now Venus is there helping increase the value of those kinds of messages that we just got. It's like, okay, assessing the value of these messages that Mercury is really trying to send us, and what direction we need to take to really make sure that our environment has all the things that it needs to support not just ourselves. I think with Mercury in Cancer and Venus in Cancer, it's like we're thinking about the people in our lives that we're connected to and how we can support and help, you know, the system, the unit, you know, in a very Cancer way. So Mars and Venus is really supporting each other to really bring balance to the give and take of that, you know. Venus in Cancer is going to give all that it has to protect and love and nurture, you know, and Mars wants to help create a solid foundation and actually give us the drive and energy to put that into action. So there's a lot of Mars and Venus supportive action here going on today and tomorrow to really push forward on looking at how we can increase our value, you know. And I think where we can increase our value for other people, especially, I think it's those spaces and those areas where it is about nurturing and protecting, you know. Like if you're willing to go out of your way, this is coming up a lot with the Virgo Pisces and this Mars Venus energy. It's like, where can you really help and serve others with this energy really this week as we move into that Cancer full moon? And I think that's where we can see a lot of prosperity start to show up in our lives, because I think what's important too is Mars at 13 degrees And this is where all the Uranus and Jupiter transits we just went through in Taurus are going to start to get activated and put into action here, right? So here in just a few days, Mars is going to hit 15 degrees, and Jupiter went direct at 15 degrees on the first of the year, right? So what we were growing and evolving and expanding, and the prosperity and the manifestation that we were putting in, this is where Mars, it's like what we're doing right now, whether we realize it or not, and Venus is supporting that. It is that all of what we went through and what we were going through during that time, when Jupiter was going direct and Uranus was going direct at 18 degrees, I'm pretty sure. And then Jupiter-Uranus met. This is Mars crossing that area and putting that into action. So we may not realize what we're doing at this moment. But what we are doing is actually putting those transits into motion. And this is going to go until the next eclipses, and when we get to Taurus season, and then when we have the full moon in Taurus in November, October, the last week of October, I'm pretty sure, around Halloween. So Mars is starting to put that Jupiter in Taurus and that Uranus in Taurus into action, and Venus is helping support that, and when we're willing to go out of our way to really help and serve others and bring more nurturing and more support and warmth. It is summertime in the Northern Hemisphere. That's when we're going to start to see the prosperity start to open up, But it is working through these heavier feelings today that can bring up a lot of subconscious stuff with the Moon and Saturn together. As Saturn is preparing to go retrograde, there could be a lot of heavier emotions that start to pop up today. But Mars is helping us stay consistent. That's what I do like about Mars and Taurus, is that there's a consistency there to what we're doing and what we're actually trying to create, because that's what's important with Mars too, especially when we're talking about Mars crossing these areas where Jupiter crossed and where the Jupiter-Uranus. Yeah, of course, Jupiter, we talk about prosperity and manifestation. It's like Jupiter is the prosperity, okay? Like, Jupiter is the manifestation itself, but Mars is the act, is the physical act of, putting the manifestation into action. So Mars crossing these areas is going to really start to, we're going to start to find ourselves in situations of like, oh, wow, like now this all is starting to make sense. Now that I'm here, I'm actually doing this, and this is actually happening. It's actually physically happening, and here we are. So that will start to pop up over the next week, where we start to notice like, wow, like, we've come a long way. We've grown a long way. We've expanded more than we really thought. And now Mars showing up and directing us into positions that are connected to that great expansion that we just went through with Jupiter and Uranus and Taurus. So it's not over. We got the Emperor card reversed. So I think this is a reminder that even when these heavier feelings come up with Saturn going retrograde and the moon on Saturn completely stopped, it's like we can't just give away our authority. We can't just give away our power, and we can't just sacrifice who we truly are, and we can't sacrifice our identity just to please or keep the peace necessarily with the South Node and Libra. It's not all about just keeping the peace. It's about being completely honest and taking authority and being in control of your world and the direction of where your world is expanding to. It's like you don't want, you want to ride the horse. You don't want the horse to ride you. So it is with Saturn and Pisces, it's easy to get lost into the ether. It's easy to get lost into situations or ideas, and you can lose your power. You can lose your authority when you lose that physicality. You lose that Saturn, physical resistance. You need that friction to know that this is reality. So I hope that helps. And I hope you guys have a wonderful Thursday. And I will see you all on Friday. Peace out.